Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IAS. In today's video, we will be discussing a current affair topic brought to you by your faculty Sushma KP. What is the topic that we are discussing today? Okay, Ayodhya verdict. Okay, will it battle for your Places of Worship Act of 1991? Understanding? In this article, we will be discussing as to why is it in news. We will be discussing about Ayodhya verdict. And then we will be discussing about your Places of Worship Act, and then we will be discussing a possible mains question. Okay? Where is the relevance of it? In your GS paper 2 in Government Policies Interventions, okay, and about your Places of Worship Act 1991. See, understand some simple story, okay, that is, I will tell it to you like a story, you listen to it like one. We will be discussing about your Ayodhya verdict, okay. 15th century, okay, 15th 16th century, largely 16th century पे Babri Masjid was built. Okay, the claims from certain Hindu organizations were the Babri Masjid was built upon a temple structure which was to house or which is considered as the birthplace of Lord Shri Ram. Okay, which was in Ayodhya, Uttar Pradesh. Fine. So what happened was, what happened was 1949 itself onwards, people were claiming for ownership over Babri Masjid. Three particular compartments, Sunni Waqf Board, okay, your Hindu Mahasabha wing of Ram Lalla, okay, or your Child Rama, okay, another organization. In detail, we will discuss further. Well, what happened was 1992, a Rath Yatra happens, okay, conducted by your L.K. Advani from your Gujarat to your Ayodhya. 1993, peak of communal tensions in India. Demolition of Babri Masjid. Petitions are raised in Allahabad High Court. Okay, three particular parties are claiming ownership of this particular land or your disputed land which is claimed to be Ayodhya. Okay, by Ayodhya we mean the birthplace of Ram. Okay, and then the same place where Babri Masjid was destroyed. So this particular land which is disputed is 2.77 acres of land where three particular parties are competing for ownership of this land. One stating for your Ram Janmabhoomi, another stating for your Sunni Waqf Board. Yep. So what happened was, now in front of Allahabad High Court it goes to. In Allahabad High Court 2010, okay, they trifurcated this place into three parts, okay, that this place will be divided into three and will be given for each section. Who those are, what further I will tell you. 2019 pe, the Supreme Court gives out a verdict on a 5-judge bench telling that this trifurcation is not sustainable, rather they give out a judgment which states, okay, it's a 5-judge bench, okay, which states the complete disputed land of 2.77 acres will go to Ram Janmabhoomi, okay, and the center has to additionally allocate 5 acres of land in Ayodhya to your Sunni Waqf Board. While doing this, the Supreme Court observed few things. First and foremost, the demolition of Babri Masjid was considered wrong. Okay. Second thing, what is the one of the main claims that is made? Your Babri Masjid, the existing structure was built on a temple-like structure. While delivering the justice in 2019, okay, when your courts were to give the judgment, first and foremost they had recommended it to ask your Archaeological Survey of India, okay, which did okay, mentioned that yes, Babri Masjid was built on an already existing temple like structure. Okay. So, in note of that, your Supreme Court held that just because a structure, okay, an existing structure is built on top of some other structure doesn't necessarily mean it was unfriendly. Okay. And third thing, is there a provision in India where, okay, see, we have had, India has a land been witnessed, okay, where multiple, okay, instances pe we have had your Britishers come in, okay, certain section of the people say, okay, your Hindus, Sikhs, etc. tell that, people have come, visited, they have destroyed our temples and built other religious institution, okay. Now we want to remove that and build ours. So, is there a provision to do that? No, okay. To make sure, okay, we do not enter into a period, okay, in the present trying to right the wrongs of the past or history, okay. So, basically to maintain a concept of secularism, we brought in an act, that was Places of Worship Act of 1991, which states that despite the fact that if your structure was built on top of some other structure also, let us say your religious institution was this, okay, A, but some other, okay, religious institution was built on top of that, okay, and that does not mean that you will now presently break it, meaning August 15, 1947, how things were, it will remain like that only. That is, before 1947, any point of time, if your institution ke upar some other institution was built, presently you will not tell I will break this and then I will keep that. Yes, don't you think that's exactly what happened in Ayodhya case? Yes, one side we are telling this is the provision according to Place of Worship Act, we cannot do this, and Ayodhya case pe we exactly did this. How? That was because there is an exemption in Places of Worship Act which exempted Ayodhya. Understanding? Look at this. As we discussed, it was a unanimous verdict, 5-judge bench, okay, where 2.77 acres went to your Ram Janmabhoomi, 5 acres went to Sunni Waqf Board, okay. The trifurcated land, whatever I spoke, one of the complainants were petitioners were for Sunni Waqf Board, another is Ram Lalla, another is Nirmohi Akara. In your 2019 verdict, they said no, this 2.77 acres of land, whatever is there, it goes completely to your Ram Lalla. Okay. This Sunni Waqf Board will get additionally 5 acres of land in Ayodhya itself, so they can build a mosque. Your Nirmohi Akara will not get any share, but rather they will be involved in the trust, meaning post giving this 2.77 acres of land, that is post your 1993 demolition of Babri Masjid, instantly the government took over the land in Ayodhya, right. So, your Supreme Court had told the center that you have to create a trust after you create the Ram Lalla, within 3 months of this verdict, you will create a trust, okay, and you will hand over the property to the trust. So, these people will be added into the trust, the representation of these people will be given in the trust, okay. Now, before coming to Places of Worship Act, during your Babri Masjid demolition, okay, and post that all the cases started coming up, right. One of the, okay, while delivering your 2019 Ayodhya or your Babri Masjid demolition case, the reason, one of the reasons which it was cited was, okay, the petitioners on the Ram Lalla side provided concrete proof that they were the ones who were offering prayer there, whereas the Muslims could not, or the Sunni Waqf Board could not provide, okay, adequate proof that yes, they were using the mosque, that is whether namaz was performed, prayers were performed, okay, whether they were following the 5 pillars of Islam, okay, that they could not provide concrete proof. And also another fact, okay, the verdict was towards this side was based on doctrine of essentiality. According to your Ismail Farooqi versus Union of India case, look at this, mosque is not an essential part of practice, okay, in the religion of Islam, and namaz by Muslims can be offered anywhere, even in the open. Okay, this was also one of the attributes that was kept in mind, the doctrine of essentiality, while delivering your Ayodhya verdict of 2019. Okay. Now let us come to Places of Worship Act 1991, where we discussed that whatever was done in Ayodhya cannot be done is basic principle. In simpler words we are trying to tell, but only in Ayodhya how we could do, because that was an exception. Okay. So according to your Place of Worship Act, what does it mean? First and foremost, you preserve the religious status of places of worship. Okay. That is, you set a year, August 15, 1947. After this, on this day, whatever things or whatever religious institutions were there, it will continue like that only. You will not change the nature of any religious institution, you will not do conversion of any religious institution, nor you will change the nature, either partly or wholly. Okay. This entire act was brought in for one main thing, to protect and uphold secularism. But recent times this has started getting criticism as to it was brought in to protect secularism, but this is the one which is somewhere causing a rift in the secularism. What those are, further we will see. Okay. And one of the main reason is to maintain a communal harmony. Supreme Court, while giving the Ayodhya verdict, also highlighted that you cannot take law and order in your hands right now in the present to right the mistakes of the past. Okay. That is why it is strictly, okay, and also in your 2019 Ayodhya verdict, Supreme Court upheld Places of Worship Act of 1991. Okay. So this is the official, okay, this is the official act. Look at this. This is an act. What is that? The Places of Worship Act of 1991 is to prohibit conversion of any place of worship. Okay. And look at this. An act to prohibit conversion of any place of worship and to provide for the maintenance of religious character and any place of worship as it existed, which means the date, okay, the cut-off date, you think of it, 15th day of August 1947. However things existed on 15th August 1947, it is how it will exist. Despite the fact that even if you are telling, no, my structure is there. One recent example, see, your National Crimes Record Bureau. Okay, the National Crimes Record Bureau has stated that from 2015 to 2017, there is almost 70% increase in the cases, which is about, okay, the same religious institutions. What do I mean by that? For example, is your Gyanvapi Mosque, which is next to, okay, your Kashi Vishwanath temple. They are telling now they have found a linga type structure in the mosque. This does not give the permission to tear down that religious institution and build the old religious institution which was there. Understanding? Now again, this has been brought into criticism. Many of the people, your Hindu faction, Sikh factions, etc. are claiming that this date itself you have set is very unfair to us. Okay, our religious institutions which were built and people who toppled it down and built something else on it, now we do not get an access to go get it back. Okay, but still, to maintain the sense of secularism, this was brought in, and Supreme Court has upheld this act in your 2019 Ayodhya case. Okay. See, according to the section 3 of your Places of Worship Act of 1991, it prohibits the conversion of any place of worship from one religious denomination to another, either partly or wholly. Okay, and also the religious identity should remain unchanged. It does not mean you will keep the building same, but you will change the, okay, religion inside it. That is also not allowed. Another thing, look at this. There are certain exceptions. Basically, in general, what we told should not happen is exactly what we did in Ayodhya case. Why? Again, because exception. The specific dispute at Ayodhya or Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi was exempted from the act. Okay, and also the exemption are any place of worship which is either ancient, historical monument or an archaeological site which is covered under your ancient monuments and archaeological sites and Remains Act of 1958. Understanding? This Places of Worship Act, every day it is now being challenged. Like I told you, Janmabhoomi Mosque case. Okay. Similarly, throughout the country, the cases have been increasing, the petitions have been increasing. 496 cases have been lodged on the same concepts. Okay. So, what are the concerns we are having with respect to Places of Worship Act? First thing is limitation in the judicial review. Okay. Judiciary is having a limited role. Second thing is the cut-off date. Okay, this is where majority people are telling the date which you have picked. Okay, you picked, we got independence, but we didn't get an opportunity to, okay, take back our land. By our land, which means take back whatever religious institution once was important for us. Okay, we didn't get even a chance to do that. So, this date has become very controversial, and also the legal challenges, like I told you, your National Crime Bureau has stated that from 2015 to 2020, okay, almost 70% increase in cases on your questions of religious institutions. Okay, and the exemption of certain disputes, the main one, the Ayodhya dispute, now brings, okay, again criticism to the act. And the whole point this act was brought was to bring in secularism, okay, was to maintain a communal harmony, okay, but both of those are being challenged in the recent times, okay. One of the main things is, if a particular religious institution is under debate, discussion, okay, either on Place of Worship Act, it should as much as possible be depoliticized. But what happens? It is excessively used in political issues and it is politicized. If there is a way that we have to bring it down from escalation of situations or creating communal tensions, then one thing it has to be done is it has to be depoliticized. Okay. What are the constitutional safeguards for secularism in our constitution? For example, okay, fundamental rights, for example, your Article 14, a right to equality, equal protection of law, etc. Article 16(1), okay, where equality in public employment without discrimination with respect to religion, race, etc. Yes, and next is your Article 25, conscience, okay, freedom of conscience of religion. It's a more of an individual right, up to you, your faith. Yes, and let's say Article 26, fundamental rights, for example, your Article 14, a right to equality, equal protection of law, etc. Article 16(1), okay, where equality in public employment without discrimination with respect to religion, race, etc. Yes. And next is your Article 25, conscience, okay, freedom of conscience of religion. It's a more of an individual right, up to you, your faith. Yes, and let's say Article 26, okay, it's the ability, okay, it's the ability for religious groups to establish, okay, institutions. Yes. Then next is Article 27, where no particular organization or religious institution will be forced to pay tax, yes, for the promotion of their particular religion. Then we speak with respect to Article 28. Again same thing, the ability to set up a educational institution, okay, where you can impart religious education, but at any cost. One main thing is no institution or no state run schools will be getting any religious education imparted. Then is with respect to your article 29 and article 30, which speaks about cultural and educational rights for your minorities. Okay, and then see our article 51A, maintain communal harmony. Then in your 42nd Amendment Act in 1976, the word secular was added. Yes, so these are all the constitutional safeguards present with regard to your secularism. Then Supreme Court cases which are upholding secularism as a basic structure. For example, we can say Keshwanand Bharti case. Okay, then we can say your S.R. Bommai case, where both of them, in both the Supreme Court cases, it is held that your secularism, is a key principle or a basic feature of the Constitution. Okay, so what can be done for this? See, like we discussed, there is a lot of cases every day, coming up, like we just pointed out, right? What is happening is each and every time you find out, this kind of structure is found below some other religious organization, which will instead go into a mode of each one of them trying to protect or trying to portray themselves as belonging to particular religious institution, and that coming in a national front and getting politicized will frame India into a particular type of country or particular religion oriented country. India has maintained its stance of secularism. We do not promote any religion, or we promote all our religions. We do not favor any one religion. We favor all the religions. Understanding? So, that has to be strengthened. For that, what can be done? Need for legal clarity. Understanding? What is the definition of this? For example, let us say religious institutions, and also worship, places of worship. The Supreme Court in 2022 also has claimed that, you can, Supreme Court in 2022 has claimed that you can inquire into what contributes to place of worship without having any changes to the place of worship. So, you can inquire into what contributes to a place of worship. So, meaning definition, meaning legal clarity, and also preventing local court ka overreach. Recently, would have seen a lot of cases where the courts, the lower level courts are interfering a lot in with respect to and dealing with cases which are extremely sensitive in nature. Depolitization of these cases, like we discussed, and focusing on unity, communal harmony, fraternity. So, a possible mains question: evaluate the judiciary's role in adjudicating disputes surrounding sacred sites, especially considering recent constitutional challenges to Places of Worship Act of 1991. 150 words, 10 marks, which means here you will also discuss what Places of Worship Act ka key provisions are. What is the mission or aim of coming up with this thing? That is your Place of Worship Act, like we discussed. Then we will also go ahead to discuss what are the exceptions it has, like we discussed, Ayodhya case and all those things. You will again go ahead to speak about, despite this, you will provide some examples as to, for example, you can give the Janmabhoomi-Babri Masjid case, You can even point out records from your National Crime Bureau where 70% of cases have increased. Yep. As to why this issue is getting escalated, and also you can mention your Supreme Court stand as to what can it do to do this. Okay, and at last, so when I say Supreme Court stand, for example, in 2022, Supreme Court held that yes, we have to inquire into the definition of or what constitutes to, okay, places of worship. And then last page you will mention a way forward or what can be done. For example, depolitization of issues. Okay, another thing is promote, okay, your harmony, brotherhood, fraternity, these kind of things. Okay, for 10 marks, this is a holistic answer. Okay. Hope you have understood the content. We have reached the end of the topic. If you do like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button and share it along with your friends. Thank you.